Yeah. Some of the artists are a little wilder too, which is why I don't necessarily like it anymore. But it was fun while I did it, but I mean, I don't know. It just the weekend warrior thing. I mean, a lot of people like that, but it's just not for me. I like being out. And it's just most of the acts I work with, they'll go out for 2, 3 months at a time. And I mean, that's where I belong. When I was doing the weekend warrior thing and the country thing, it just, you do your 3 or 4 shows a week and then you come home and I never got into a groove. I'm a road dog. This is where my home is in the bus. That's the fun of it for me. You get to travel the world.
Hello, and thanks for coming back. And so, first of all, if you haven't seen it yet, go check out the podcast about the Hoover Dam installation with Patrick Dearson and Andrew Gumper. We did a podcast last week, I think, and just fantastic. Such a cool project. Whether you're patriotic or not, it's just cool. It's very cool. We've all seen the Hoover Dam. If you haven't seen it, it's huge. And to see it lit up with a huge American flag and lighted in, just beauty, just a fantastic project and really fun, and two great guys. So it's a good podcast, and we show some pictures of the installation and talk about how they did it and stuff. So go check that one out. It's fun. And couple things in the industry right now. So as I'm recording this, we're getting ready for Infocom, which I believe starts today. It's either today or tomorrow as I'm recording. By the time you hear it, it's probably either over or you're at Infocom listening to this with your morning breakfast at the Days Inn. Infocom's a great show. I wish I could go to it this year. I'm actually up in Canada. I got to my house in Canada about a week ago and just too busy. Basically, I have no excuse except I'm too busy. I'm working 12-hour days and, moving my life up to Canada for the summer. So yeah, it's just been completely insane. And speaking of insane, so there's a couple of significant events happening in the industry right now, besides the crazy summer touring and all the big stadium shows and huge stuff going on all over the place. Metallica moving into the Sphere, of course, which I'm sure Rob Koenig, our friend, is going to have some fun with that one. I'll have to get him on a podcast and ask him, what that was like compared to the stadiums that he's been doing for the last several years. So yeah, that's a good call. Sarah, if you're listening to this, reach out to Rob and let's try and get something scheduled. As busy as he's going to be, let's just try and get, 30, 45 minutes of his time on a podcast. And what else did I want to tell? Oh, the other craziness basically is World Cup, which is just starting today. Again, as I'm recording this, Mexico is beating South Africa right now, I think. I don't really watch it, but my fiance is British and she's a huge fan. She's an Arsenal fan, but she's a fan of soccer/football. And so she's just been counting the moments until we got to this date. So, yeah, I've had a million calls for stuff either in Canada, the US, or Mexico. We had a bunch of video stuff, deals happening in Mexico for a lot of video projectors, LED screens, all kinds of stuff, lighting as well. Just a huge amount of gear, of course, because it's not just the football matches, it's all the events going on around it. So it's massive. And, every time there's a World Cup, that country or countries see a surge in just need for gear. And there's a lot of need for gear out there. So I hope you're all really busy and making loads of money right now. And the other one, of course, which I've talked about a bunch already, is the UAE, because someday, God help us, this war thing is going to be over. And right now, a lot of their shows are just being pushed out. And I think we're in Q4 and even moving into Q1 of next year right now. And I'm getting calls either through GearShare or GearSource looking for stuff for the end of the year. As far away as even Western Europe, we're getting requests for product. So it's crazy. And, Cool. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a huge Q4 and Q1 2027 as well. And so that's cool. Speaking of GearShare, if you're not on it yet, why not? It's really starting to surge now. Not really allowed to talk about it yet, but one of the largest companies in our industry in the world with 18 global locations and lots of gear and lots of stuff going on. They have just signed up, and a few others as well. We've got a few in Europe finally signing up, and a couple in the Middle East as well. So yeah, it's really starting to gain popularity. We're also working very closely with a few of the rental management software companies, making sure that our API is killer on those. And our API is going to work better than any API that's out there right now. We're combining traditional API technology with a lot of AI as well. And we're also sort of debunking it from a standpoint of, I'm sure you know, AI, or I should say APIs between rental management software and whether it's accounting software or whatever it is, they're always broken. And so we've worked a way around that to where it'll always be on. So you'll always be able to search gear. It'll always be up to date. And sort of the best of both the offline world and the API world combined in a system. So, yeah, we've worked hard on that since, I don't know, August last year, July last year. So a year, and it's finally working. And we've got a few guinea pigs that are going up on it right now. And so we're pretty excited by that. So, yeah, get on GearShare. And so today's guest is Ryan Goldbacher, a tour manager, production manager, and front of house engineer with more than 20 years of experience in the live entertainment industry. Ryan has toured the world with artists including the HU. Is it the HU or the Who? It's not Who, WHO, it's HU. Don't know who that is. Sorry. I'll have to ask Ryan on the podcast here today. Except I do know who they are. Sebastian Bach, I know who he is. Then Lizzy, love them. And many others, managing everything from international logistics and production to front of house audio. A Nashville-based professional and owner of Show Logistics LLC, Ryan brings a unique combination of technical expertise, leadership, and real-world touring experience. We're excited to hear the stories from the road and learn what it takes to keep major productions running smoothly around the globe. Ryan is coming to us in a very tight schedule because he's currently on tour with Tom Keifer from Cinderella and took time out during his busy schedule to chat with us. So please welcome Ryan to the podcast. Well, hello there, Mr. Ryan. How are you?
How's it going? Good.
Hey, it's going. It's going. I think I have an easier day than you. You've had load in, sound check. Probably 3 meals already.
Well, not yet. I haven't gotten to eat yet, but I got a power bar.
Wow.
So,
where are you? What city are you in?
We're in Lakeland, Florida. It's just about an hour outside of Orlando.
Yeah.
So.
No, I live in Wellington, Florida, in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So I know it well. Well, I live there in part of the year, and I live in Canada the other part of the year, where I am right now, up in Canada. But yeah, so the Lakeland Civic Center, right?
No, it's well, maybe it is. It's the Yorkie Theater. Maybe it's part of the Lakeland Civic Center. It seems to be. It's a complex. I mean, honestly, the bus pulled in and I woke up and we were at the theater. So I think there's other things here. There's like I don't know, I'm looking at some signs. There's Jenkins Hall and Skies Hall. So it's probably part of something like that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Are you friends with Cosmo?
No.
Oh, because Cosmo lives very close to that. So I usually see him going to those shows. But so I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're like right in the middle of all of that stuff, and we had to reschedule.
It actually worked out perfect.
Fault.
Yeah. It worked out pretty good because I'd rather be. It's more interesting to be on a gig and talking about this stuff than it is. I was at home the other day when we were supposed to do it, so it worked out good.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You got a dog and a baby on your lap and stuff. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's not as rock and roll.
No.
Yeah. So speaking of rock and roll, like so you're out with Tom Keifer right now, who's Cinderella, if people don't know that. And I was telling you before we started recording, like that's sort of my jam, like I'm from the 80s. That's all of that music in the 80s. And it's so cool that it's all still out there right now. Like all these bands, some of them much larger, some of them are touring clubs, but so many of them are still out doing it. It's awesome. Like, Who knew that, cocaine and whiskey and
Yeah, I
whatever
know.
else was going to allow you to survive this long?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy. So, and I just looking at your resume, or at least what I got from it, Sebastian Bach and Lizzy, except like you're a rock and roll guy. Inner Circle Distribution, and Clay Packy. If you've been in the industry for a while, you already know the Sharpie name. It redefined what a beam fixture could be. Now ICD and Clay Packy have taken that legacy and brought it fully into the modern era. The all-new Ultimo Sharpie keeps the compact form factor that made the original so iconic, but delivers an entirely new level of performance, pushing up to 100,000 lux at 20 meters. And for today's demanding environments, it's built IP66 rated, ready for outdoor shows, festivals, and any condition you can throw at it. Color is no longer a limitation either, with fast CMY mixing replacing traditional color wheels, giving you full flexibility without compromise. Add a built-in frost for softer looks, plus dual rotating prisms for rich layered aerial effects. Movement is everything you expect from a Sharpie, even faster than before, precise and dynamic with added features like infinite pan. And for seamless integration into existing rigs, there's even a Sharpie emulation mode, making it easier to drop into legacy setups. Same icon, completely reimagined. Clay Packy Ultimo Sharpie, sharper than ever. Check out icd-usa.com for more info. icd-usa.com.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least the last 8, 9 years have been almost exclusively rock and roll. I used to do a lot of country stuff, but, I don't know, that wasn't as much fun as doing the rock and roll stuff, so this is where I
Yeah.
belong. So
Uh-oh. You froze.
oh, did I? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're back.
Oh,
Yep, you're
alright.
back. It's all good. You are in a venue. Yeah, I mean, I could see rock and roll being a little more fun than country. Although these days, country, some of these country shows are wilder than a lot of the rock and roll shows.
Yeah. Some of the artists are a little wilder too, which is why I don't necessarily like it anymore. But
Yeah.
it was fun while I did it, but I mean, I don't know. It just the weekend warrior thing. I mean, a lot of people like that, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I like being out. And
Yeah.
it's just most of the acts I work with, they'll go out for 2, 3 months at a time, and I mean, that's where I belong. It's to
Oh,
me
that's
when I
cool.
was doing the weekend warrior thing and the country thing, it just you do your 3 or 4 shows a week, and then you come home, and I never got into a groove. I felt
Yeah.
so it was like it just I don't know. It was never. I'm a road dog. This is where my home is in the bus. I don't.
Yeah.
My
Good
my
for you, man.
my my address in Nashville is just where people send me mail. That's all. So
The industry needs people like you, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because so
yeah.
many people now, are my age or older and not wanting to spend so much time in buses anymore. So,
Yeah, yeah. So it's
yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's I don't know. That's the fun of it for me. You get to travel
yeah,
the world and, never be home. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least a lot of these rock bands that you're working with now, I'm guessing, have mellowed out a lot because, longevity means you got to slow down on the drinking and the drugs and the partying and the late nights and
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, everyone that I've worked with has been super mellow. I mean, even, Sebastian Bach's kind of got a reputation for being the craziest one that I've worked with, but he's honestly, I mean, he's just a character, and when you kind of figure that out and you know the context of what's going on, you're like, "Hey, he's not so bad." But,
Didn't he
he
quit drinking though?
not that I know of, but,
I mean,
I mean,
I
he
see him drinking
doesn't.
wine at the upstaging parties all the time, but
Yeah,
I thought I heard an interview that he quit.
I don't, not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen him
Yeah.
in
Maybe it was just
months. I
that
mean,
week.
yeah, maybe. But, I mean, but he's I mean, he's crazy, but he's just a mellow, normal, pretty normal dude as far
Yeah.
as that kind of stuff goes. But yeah,
Yeah.
anybody that I've worked with in the past 10 years has been just, they just want to play music. That's all. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That's cool.
there's no partying, there's not much drinking. It's just people hanging out. I mean, the funny thing
Yeah.
is like with Tom, I mean, my mom's used to seeing she's my parents aren't music fans, but they remember growing up or not growing up in the '80s, but listening to music in the '80s, and all these people look really scary with all their makeup and their hair like that and stuff like that. And my mom's always like, "Are these scary guys? Are they
Are you safe out there, Ryan?
Oh she totally does that." And so I'm
Are
like,
they a
yeah,
cult?
man, it's fun. They're normal people. And then
Yeah.
she's like, oh, okay, all right. And then she comes to a show and she's like, they're the nicest people in the world. I never thought they'd be like that.
Well, and
So
she
it's
probably knows a few songs too,
oh yeah,
you
she
know?
totally does. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Cinderella had some big hits and a couple of ballads
Oh
and
god, yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So she would know Tom.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So are you front of house or are you production manager or all of the above?
For Tom, I'm just doing front of house. A lot of other acts I'll tour manage and production manage, or it just
Yeah.
depends on the gig. But for Tom, it works out really well. We have a really good crew. Craig Bradford, who is I don't know, eh, I can't be as spread thin as he is. He's guitar teching, tour managing, pretty much production managing, and he also plays a couple songs in the band. So he's like nonstop. So
Jesus.
I couldn't spread myself that thin. He's the first guy in, last guy out. I mean, yeah, I'm not a that powerful, but
Yeah.
I am used to wearing all the hats, but I can't do it like Craig does it. So
Well, even just tour manager or production manager and front of house is enough,
yeah,
because you're doing all the advances and all the different things that you
yeah,
have to do, plus doing your normal day job, being
yeah,
a sound engineer.
yeah. Like, well, when I do tour manage, I insist that there's a monitor engineer because I can't do all that work and set up and
Yeah.
be ahead of the game on that stuff. So it's a it's a necessity to have the extra audio guy out there for sure
Yeah.
to take care of all that stuff while I'm getting the day ready to go and all that other things. They can be working on the deck and getting things happening.
Yeah.
So
What's your console?
um
Quantum?
no, I'm not a Digico fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
You're
made
the
a funny
one.
yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, I made a funny video online and that kind of went viral where I was just kind of joking about Digico being overrated, and I didn't really think more than a couple people would watch it, and it went kind of nuts. um, but
I gotta go check that out. Which
yeah,
platform? Instagram or?
it's on Instagram. I think
Yeah,
it's on all of them, but it went nuts on Instagram and Facebook for mostly.
I
But
gotta go see it.
it was just like yeah, it's funny if you get a chance to go look at it. It's
Yeah,
I
well,
posted it back in February, but I just right now I'm Alan and Heath. I
yeah,
just I like the way they sound. I think I don't have a ton of experience on the newer uh Yamaha desks like the DM7 and the PM stuff, but what I
yeah,
have used, I think they're probably the best sounding desks out there. But
yeah,
I'm right now I'm an Alan and Heath guy. Just I'm good at getting them sounding good, and that's what I like.
yeah. It's just a pair of shoes that you're comfortable
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Like,
thing. Like, it's everybody got a lot of people got mad when I made that video. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying you can't get it sounding good. I'm just saying I don't. It's not my thing. It's okay.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
people with guitar amps or anything else. It's like it's a tool, and I have my favorite tools, and they may not be what you guys like, but it's it's all about how you can use it, and if you can figure out how to make it work for you, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I think you started in studios, right?
yeah. So
Which would make me think that you'd be like more of an avid guy or something. Like, I don't know. It just
um like, I mean, obviously, I knew Pro Tools, but, like, when I started, Avid didn't make live sound consoles.
yeah,
So, and there really wasn't a good sounding digital console yet. Everybody was the PM5D was just kinda coming out, and,
yeah,
the M7 was kind of the cheaper version of it, and they were fine, they were reliable, and you could get a good mix going, but it was they were lacking, and they didn't really start getting good until, you know, I mean, probably you really started getting a sonically good um um console when maybe the Pro Series stuff came out, and they were still lacking in some other areas, but now they're really getting it down
yeah,
more and more, like, because it's people, I mean, I'm sure you've heard the difference between like an old Heritage 3000 and any modern digital desk, and you're like, you can't make the comparison. That those old analog desks, they just sound better, you
yeah.
know, but at that level. So it's like, it's yeah, but I mean, I knew how to use Pro Tools. I did a lot of mixing in the box, and when the Avid consoles came out, obviously everybody was using them because they were the first things you could use plugins on, and it was
Hmm.
great. And so but nowadays, I mean, even like the cheap little, tiny little rack mount consoles. I mean, I have one of those Allen and Heath SQ consoles, and it has more inputs than my 5D did 20 years
It's
ago. And
wild,
and
isn't
the,
it?
and
Isn't
the
that
yeah,
crazy?
yeah, the 5D was like almost 100 grand when I remember they first came out. So, it's just, I mean, people get great mixes on X32s. It doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
just matters that you know how to use what you got
It's true.
the
It's
best.
always
So
been that way. It's always
yeah,
been
yeah,
that way. Like,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I loved the sound guys that could make, you know, junk sound amazing
yeah.
and, you know, weren't that spoiled where it had to be this and it had to be that.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. People, and I make some videos that are kind of provoking, just for hyperbole and to get some views. But like, um, it's if you're one of those guys that won't walk into a room and won't do the job because there's a piece of gear that you don't like, you need to go do something else. It's
yeah,
you know, make it work.
yeah.
You
That's a
know,
good point. That's a really
yeah.
good
I
point. I like
mean,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
lighting has changed in that regard too, because lighting
mm,
pre-COVID, you know, if you were a top lighting designer or even just, you know, sort of middle to the top, you know, the larger
mm,
acts that were out touring at least arenas or whatever, you could get whatever you wanted. You know, you
mm,
put something on the spec and you're going to get exactly that. When COVID happened, it changed everything to where take what we got in the warehouse, you know, because there were shortages and all that stuff. You couldn't
yeah.
get things that you wanted. So you had to
Mm,
take something else. And then it just seemed to kind of become the norm. Like I'll either take some of these or some of these or some of these, whatever you
yeah.
got.
Mm,
And where lighting, though, I think has become pretty ubiquitous where, you know, every brand has sort of the same spot wash profile, this, that, you know,
yeah.
they all kind of have a full line of product and you can sub them in and out. And everyone has sort of the one killer fixture that you can't replace in a different brand, but
Yeah.
for the most part, they're all
Well,
pretty ubiquitous.
you can get the job done with any one brand. It's
Of
kind of how I
course.
feel like
Yeah.
it. Feel like it
Well, I
is.
mean,
It's
the
like,
funny thing, it's like audio too, because you even said the Mackie, you know, console you could go out and mix a show with. And
yeah,
it's the same in lighting. Like, you know, I don't want to pick on American DJ, but American DJ, you could go do an arena tour with American DJ with, you know, Chauvet's now a big pro line, but, you know, Acme's a huge brand now in lighting. And,
mm,
you know, 10 years ago, if somebody said use some Acme lighting, they'd be like, what? You know?
yeah. Well, it's
So,
yeah. I mean, when I started doing live sound stuff, it was all just Parkans and ACLs, and there's still not very many intelligent lights out there. And
yeah,
if you compare that to some of this stuff you can go buy at Guitar Center, it's a lot better in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm no LD, but
yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like light's just as bright, and it can do like 500 different things that a Parkan can't do.
Yeah.
So
I guess there's maybe a little more nuance in audio. Like
I'm
you've got all the fake L acoustic stuff out there and
oh
fake
god, yeah.
whatever. Yeah, and I'm sure that stuff sounds like garbage, but I don't
Mm.
know. Like I don't know
Well,
that I've heard a fake K2 L acoustic rig or whatever.
yeah,
But
I don't think I ever have, because if I have, they did a good job faking it. But I mean,
yeah.
I remember seeing. I think it happened down in your area where there's a like a
Yeah.
news video
Tampa,
where
near
there's just
Tampa. Yeah.
yeah, like just a bunch of guys with chainsaws cutting up a bunch of gear. I thought that was so funny. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. So it's yeah, it's just you know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's other brands that I've run into that are fake,
Yeah.
just because they weren't configured, like they were completely configured wrong, and that's not the amp that goes with that. That's not the processor that goes with that. But
Yeah.
so, but yeah, it's if you, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
even consoles like the MA2, there's well, I think there's MA3s too, but there are some fake offshore MA2s out there that people are buying brand new for 6,000-7,000 bucks, and you know they're pretty much ripping off the MA2 software, and the hardware's pretty similar. But I don't see
wow,
many people touring with them, but I do see people putting them into installs. Lots of them going to
well,
installs.
yeah,
So, because it's like 80 or 90 grand or 15 grand.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. I
So,
mean, yeah, I get it. But, you
yeah.
know, at the end of the day, when those lights don't turn on, you're in trouble.
Well,
So,
yeah, and also, I mean, if you want cool shit, you got to pay for R&D. You gotta
yeah.
you got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
willing to buck up and pay for the stuff because
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I mean, MA or Digico or whoever it is, they're not going to keep
Mhm.
innovating if they don't have the money to do it.
No,
Like
yeah.
it's really expensive creating
Yeah.
new software.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, yeah, if you keep doing that, it's just gonna stay the same for the next 20 years. It'll be whatever we
yeah,
have now, just more
yeah.
there'll be more channels, more effects, but there won't be anything new that's cool. So,
When you worked in studios, were you doing was it analog recording stuff or was it already all digital?
no, there was plenty of analog stuff. I started so when I moved to Nashville, I got an internship at, Blackbird. So, obviously, they had everything you could, want over there, and then when I got another internship after that ended, and I actually started assisting at Dark Horse. And Dark Horse was mostly Pro Tools. They did have a bunch of Atari machines, but I mean, 95% of everything we did there was Pro Tools.
Yeah.
You know, almost all in the box still, even with an analog desk in front of you, you just use it for the preamp. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's another world that changed so much because, I owned a small music store, but I worked in a lot of music stores before I got into the lighting business. And again, this is back in the 80s. I hate to say it, but, recording decks or whatever were very expensive. Like even a little
yeah,
Tascam 4-track recorder was like $1,000 or
yeah,
something. And, now you get with a Mac, you get GarageBand. And I remember the first Mac I got and I looked at GarageBand and went, holy shit, like this is
oh yeah,
cooler than
that's
any recording device I used to
oh
record
yeah,
on,
yeah. I mean,
and it's
even
free.
yeah, yeah. Well, I remember when so the way I got into the business, I went to a charter school for performing arts, and you had to pick a major. And the only reason I ended up going there was because it was just better than the normal high school. But I got in, and like you had to declare a major, and I played guitar, so I'm like, all right, I'll do instrumental music. Um, didn't really think too much of it, but yeah, that's what I would rather do that than anything else. And then because of where I lived, they didn't have a bus, and I would be waiting an hour after school every day, and just be sitting there playing around, and the my the teacher there, Lou London, it's like an incredible jazz guitarist, um, was working on like this computer software, and I thought it was just like really weird. And he wasn't like we weren't really teaching it, but he was like, "Well, I have this, Brian. Do you want to use this?" And I'm like, "Well, what's it called?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a dumb name for audio software. What's Pro Tools?"
Uh, yeah.
It just seemed like, oh, this is a weird name to call something.
That's
But
never going to catch on.
yeah, well, it already had, but I just was naive at that point. And it was right when this was like 2001, so it was like right after. I think it was like a Ricky Martin record that was like the first record that was completely done in the box, and they just had come out with Pro
Really?
Tools
Ricky
L.
Martin?
I That's what I heard. I don't know if that's how true that
Wow.
is, but that's the rumor. The one that record that Livin' La Vida Loca was on, but, who knows if that's actually true. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was the Pro Tools LE was like the first, like, native-based system, um, where you didn't have to have all these external cards and $100,000 worth of gear just to make plugins work. And, that was, like, pretty revolutionary at the time, and you could do 24 tracks on it, I remember that, and, maybe run 5 or 6 plugins at a time, and then it would crash every 5 minutes and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's how I started getting into recording. I was stuck after the school every day, and I I was
That's
just
cool.
putting stuff
That's
in the
awesome.
red, and yeah, that's how I got into it. So,
Just getting those
but
opportunities to intern too and work on
oh
real
yeah,
gear and stuff.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
huge.
yeah,
Huge.
yeah, you know,
But
break.
are those studios still there or are they?
Oh yeah, Dark Horse is still there. They're both still there. Dark Horse has grown a lot since I've been there, but they were like a basically a big room studio. Now they started like a school that's really good, and there's a couple. There's at least two campuses. There's like a
Yeah.
real studio, and then they have like a classroom type area. off, a couple miles away, and then, yeah, Blackbird's the same way. Blackbird's got a really good audio program too, but yeah, Blackbird's got some of the best studios in the world, so.
Just seems like you need studios less these days, because you could
Well,
set up a home studio for,
yeah,
you
exactly,
know,
like, I mean, that's
nothing.
that's kinda why I'm not doing it. I mean, and I'm glad it worked out for me the way it did, 'cause I wouldn't have it any other way. I love touring, but, um, everybody could buy Pro Tools or whatever software they wanted and do everything on their laptop, and they didn't need the big studio for much.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time. You could cut a hit record on a laptop you buy at Best Buy,
Well,
and
Billie Eilish, didn't she
yeah,
record the big first album in her bedroom or something
yeah,
with her brother helping her?
and it's you could cut a whole record in the box in your bedroom, and
Yeah.
you could have a hit, and it doesn't need to be done in a studio. Now, it's nice to have the studio, but uh, I think it's a great way to learn how to do it. But yeah, it's tough for studios now because like I've never been a creative person. I've always been the guy that liked to turn the knobs and get stuff sounding good. I was never
Yeah.
the guy that could
Mhm.
write a song or play or anything like that. So it was clear to me that that was kind of going that route. And if I'm just going to be the technical person, it was not going to be viable for me. And then so I started doing live sound, and I fell in love with it. That's where I am
Was that
now.
on purpose, or did you just get an offer to go do something?
Well, it was well. So when I lived, but even before I went to college, I went to that performing arts school, and they got me jobs at venues just doing basic stuff, setting up, and eventually I started mixing even before I was done high school, um, professionally. So I knew I enjoyed it, and so when I went off to college, I went for recording arts and got to Nashville, was looking to the studio thing, and then I was like, well, I could have some boring job, or I could go get a job at a venue and do something that's related
Yeah.
and meet people and do all that. So I ended up getting a job at it's called something else now, but it's a venue called the Wild Horse in Nashville. And I was there for probably 5, 6 years, and eventually I just started asking bands if I could go out on tour with them. And they're like, "Oh yeah, come on out." And started out in a van, and then things got bigger and bigger and bigger. So
Good for you, man.
yeah,
Good for you. And now it's a career.
yeah.
And it's
Oh,
it's been
I've been able
batshit
to trick.
crazy the last few years too.
Oh, dude, it's been nuts, and yeah, I've been able to trick people into paying me, so I'm gonna keep doing that.
Well, and you're getting paid well now too, I'm guessing.
uh, uh,
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of LDs now who are literally getting, 2 and 3 times what they did before
yeah,
COVID.
yeah, it's
So,
gone up quite a bit, and
yeah.
yeah.
Which is good.
So
It should. I
yeah,
mean, it's not the easiest life. It's fun, but it's not the easiest life. You got to give
mm,
up a lot of things to do it.
yeah,
Sometimes relationships or marriages or whatever, you
no,
miss a lot of kids' soccer games and
yeah,
cheerleading competitions and stuff.
yeah.
But
It's definitely not for everybody. I mean,
no.
I'm not married. I don't have any kids or anything like that, so it works
Oh,
out really well for me. But I can totally understand people liking the weekend warrior world and wanting to do
yeah.
that, and I can I can respect a lot. So many people, I'm sure it happened in lighting too. They got out of the game after COVID. It's like, you know what?
Yeah, a
I
lot
didn't love
did.
this as much. Yeah, I didn't love it as much as I thought was going to, or it's time to make the change. And it made rates go up quite a bit, which has been great for me. But
Yeah.
so
I think a lot of that, most of it anyways, was like sort of a little further down the line,
yeah,
labor kind of things. The guys that
yeah,
were loading and unloading trucks or
yeah,
A3s, A4s,
mm,
lighting techs, truck
yeah,
drivers.
yeah.
A lot of those types of people got.
Screw this.
Well, I mean, if you're going to drive a truck, yeah, it's fun driving a truck for, the whatever tour,
Yeah,
but at the same time, you don't get to go home to your wife and kids and all those things. So you're giving up a
mhm.
lot, and you can go work for Amazon and, make 120
Dude.
grand a
Yeah,
year or something
yeah.
driving for Amazon.
Yeah,
So,
it might not be quite as interesting, but if you gotta be a
yeah.
a parent, it's probably the more responsible,
Yeah.
move.
Although I
So,
know a lot of really good parents who are on the
I do
road,
too. Yeah, yeah.
so
It's
it's
but
all
it's
about
it's
trying to find balance and trying to
oh,
find a
yeah.
system that works for your family.
Well, and like, I do know, like, if I had kids, it would be much more difficult for me to for me to do this because I would, you know, anyway, like I don't even like being apart from my nephews and nieces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
I've never actually toured, but I've traveled a
yeah,
lot being in this industry. I've always been a sales guy or a
yeah,
business guy in this industry.
mm,
And, I know that once I had my son, I never wanted to leave. Like I was
yeah,
just like, and you started weighing like how important is this trip that I'm supposed to go on
yeah,
this week? Cause
yeah,
maybe I won't go because I'd rather be here and see him go to his
mm,
first, whatever it is. Right.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so when you first started touring, you were already doing front of house or you were,
Yeah, I mean, working at the Wild Horse is how it all got started for me. So I started touring with country bands, and um, yeah, I worked for this band. They're not around anymore, but it was a band called Telluride, and they just did the normal circuit van stuff. And their manager um, happened to manage this guy's country legend. I think he's written more country hits than any other songwriter, but his name's Bill Anderson.
okay.
And Bill, I mean, Bill was, to me, it was like the biggest, coolest thing in the world when I got that gig because he had a bus, and I was like, oh, that's the coolest thing. So anyway, yeah, that was my
Hmm.
first bus tour, and you know, things kind of grew from there. Bill was not not necessarily, he had hits, but it was back in the '60s, but because of his name, everybody in the industry knew who he was, so it looked pretty good on the resume. It stuck out.
Yeah.
So they could, if they had an artist that had written with Bill, they could call Bill or call Leah's manager and, see if I was any good. And, I guess they said yes because it led to other things. But eventually that led into me getting Shooter Jennings, which was
Oh,
obviously
he's
Waylon
great.
Jennings'
Yeah.
son.
Yeah. No, I love
And
Shooter.
yeah, and at the time I was still pretty new to touring. I've maybe been doing it 2 years. I didn't really have a grasp of everything, but I kind of thought tour managing was just booking hotels and, you know, giving people a schedule and stuff like that. So when I got offered the Shooter gig, I was asked if I could tour manage too, and of course I said yeah, thinking it was
Never
thinking
done
it
it
was
before.
simple.
Don't
Yeah,
even know
but
what
oh
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, how
Yeah.
hard could it be? It's you're the
Yeah.
guy that passes out per diem. I can do that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So I mean, that really led into everything after getting Shooter, but I had no clue what I was doing. Um, but yeah, I got thrown into the fire on that gig. But yeah, that's kind of how it all led to everything, and then other country stuff from there, and then
How do you figure that out without like getting fired or, you know?
Shooter was really, really patient. He should have fired me.
Yeah.
I
So he
think,
knew this was your first time tour managing?
oh, he totally knew.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
it wasn't a secret. But
Yeah.
I think everybody thought I was gonna know more than I did. And then,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I drove the band especially nuts. But, yeah, I mean, I guess they say failure is the best teacher or something like that. I don't know, but I learned way more on that tour than I have on any other tour. And since then, everything's gone way smoother. But, yeah, I did have my ass handed to me on that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
What
grateful for it. So
what
it
were
was,
some of the biggest what were some of the biggest discoveries that you thought you knew but you didn't know?
it just had more to do with managing people than anything. It
Yeah.
was not like, it's not that difficult to, I mean, well, it is kind of difficult, but making sure you get the schedule together, making sure the bus is taken care of, all that stuff. That wasn't that hard. It was just making sure people had what they needed. People, if, I was not a good leader. That was definitely not true. And I knew it wasn't like that people didn't like me. I just didn't know how to make sure people were taken care of and stuff like that, and make sure they felt like they were heard and things. So it was, and I would the biggest thing I learned is I would put things on my plate that did not need to be there.
Yeah.
So I would do things uh, that I could just because I don't know. It was, I nowadays I know like if I got too much on my plate, I can tell an artist, hey, I can't do that now. It's gotta happen later. But I wouldn't say I was a yes man, but I would try to be the guy that took care of everybody, and it would because of that I couldn't do the job well. So the best way I can explain it is, and I try to say this a lot, like when I'm talking to younger people, like if you try to make everybody happy, you'll just piss everybody off.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think
It's true.
that's a good yeah, I think it's a good way to think about it because I thought people wanted me to do all this stuff, and they would ask me questions if I could do this, if I could do that, and but they were really more just inquiries.
Yeah.
They weren't expecting me to hold their hand through everything. It was just it was
The first time that I had to call myself CEO in a company, long time ago now, but one of the things I learned right away is it's harder to learn to say no than it is
yeah,
to say yes. Like the
yeah.
hardest thing is learning to say no, whether it's
Mm.
people throwing stuff at you or something that looks like an opportunity but really
Yeah,
isn't,
yeah.
or whatever it is. But just saying no more. And like some people even go as far as saying, I say no to everything. And then if they make a good argument, I might turn it into a
Well,
yes,
mhm. Yeah, and
So,
I've gotten way better about prioritizing what really needs to happen and what people really want over what they are asking for out loud, if that
right,
makes any sense.
right.
So it's because it made it so I couldn't do anything well when I would just put so much on my plate. It was just unsustainable. But
Yeah.
because of that, I learned a lot and I got pretty good at it. So
Yeah. So you said you weren't a very good leader. So have you now become more proficient in that, or are you still more proficient
yes,
as an audio engineer?
uh, n- n- I feel like I'm proficient in both,
Yeah.
um, equally. It's just I mean, it's hard to describe because it's one of those things that you can't just talk to people about and explain it to them in a way that will just make it click. But it's an experience thing, um, But you got to make sure you got to give people the benefit of the doubt that they understand what's going on, and make sure that they have everything they need to do their job well without you having to do it for them. I think
Yeah.
is the best way you can lead people, especially in this business. And you like in the crew I'm in now, it's amazing. Everybody just has their place and they know what they got to do. And it's not I'm not in a leadership position, but I think Craig would agree. Um, he doesn't need to hold anybody's hand here.
Yeah.
It gets done because people know what their job is and it gets done. So
You,
that's just
and sometimes when you're someone who likes to get things done and fix things and whatever, it's
mm,
very easy always to just, people come to you and say, what would you do with this? What would you do with this? What would you do with this?
yeah.
I learned something that they call the Socratic method, which
Mm,
basically is when people bring things to me and say, you know, do you think I should do this or this? And I say, well, what do you think? Which one would you choose
yeah.
and why? And then you go, okay, we'll go with that then,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I have to answer every one of those questions, why have staff, right? Because
Well,
it's all going to
yeah,
get
but
done by me eventually.
part of it too is giving people, especially people that are younger than you, the confidence to know they can make a decision on their own without
Yeah, for
running it
sure.
through
Yeah.
you. And that is a thing I think I struggled with in the beginning. Yeah, I guess I would call myself almost a control freak. Like I felt like
Yeah.
everything had to run through me, and it's not necessary, especially when you're working with professionals. It just you know
You know what though?
people.
Sometimes that's not even intentional. Like sometimes it's just because you're really good at solving problems, and
Uh,
then I think people naturally just sort of slack off and say, "Well, Ryan will get it. Like Ryan's got the best ideas. He'll fix this
well,
one." You
yeah,
know?
but yeah, well, I mean, I don't, I think it's like everything else. In some ways that might be true, but I've learned too that, uh, a decision that I would make, I might have an idea of how something should happen and want to say, do it this way, but not, and let them finish it their way. And it works out better than if I would have given them some kind of
Right.
structured way to do it. That this
Yeah, I
works
like
well
that.
for you. Because I mean, I don't know. I work differently than everybody else. It's just like what works for you.
Right.
You know how to and it's a leader's job is to kind of just glue that all together.
Yeah.
Um, so
When you're doing both production management and front of house, does that give you an advantage as the front of house guy now being the production manager? Like, Other than money, other than maybe getting a
Yeah,
bump in your pay, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Um, just because I mean, well, most production managers I've worked with, they understand production really well. So it's not like you know, a fight or anything like that. But it's easier if I'm doing front of house and I have to fight for some kind of front of house need or something like that or audio need. It's easier that I don't have to have a conversation with somebody or go back and forth. So I would say there's an advantage there. And there's a lot of situations where there's plenty of production managers that aren't audio guys, so they might have a grasp of what's going on, but it's not there's a I just think it's useful and it's more direct to be able to do it that way.
Today's episode is brought to you by Mainlight, a trusted name in dry hire lighting and stage equipment rentals. Whether you're lighting a theater show, producing a major concert, or building out a broadcast set, Mainlight delivers the gear you need to make your vision a reality. They offer a massive inventory of the latest moving lights, control consoles, trusses, LED fixtures, and durable IP65 rated gear that's perfect for both indoor and outdoor environments. From small-scale productions to massive stadium tours, Mainlight is known across the industry as the partner you trust with the gear you want. But that's not all. Mainlight also offer new equipment sales from your favorite brands and used gear pulled direct from their rental fleet. Every used item is rigorously maintained and backed by a 60-day depot warranty, giving you confidence and value in every purchase. With 3 strategically located facilities in Teterboro, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, and Las Vegas, Nevada, you get nationwide access and the responsiveness of a local provider. Explore their rental inventory, request a custom quote, or browse their sales offerings online today at mainlight.com.
As long as
Yeah.
you're not spreading yourself so thin. And I think it could be the same way with lighting or other things too. I mean, there's probably an argument to be made for an LD. Well, lighting I think is harder because if you're the only LD on a tour, like on a club tour, you're spending most of your time programming. Um, so I think that you'd probably spread yourself way too thin with that. But yeah, I mean, it, it's just I don't know. I think it makes it easier. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, you don't have to wait for somebody to give you a go or
yeah,
permission or whatever. Like you just make the decision and go, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And like, is there ever any problem for you, like switching between the two? Is it a hard line between the two or is it a really soft, mushy one?
Um, Well, I have somewhat of a rule that once the show starts, I am not tour managing anymore, or I'm not
Yeah,
production managing
that
anymore,
makes
unless
sense.
something really goes wrong. But like I'll you know think I need to be focused on the show until that last song is done, and then I'm back into the other world, whatever it needs to be. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's much more mushy if you have a lot of work to do on deck. Um, but if you can focus on the administrative stuff and then just do front of house, um, it's not as difficult, and it's
Yeah.
not that difficult because you're you can section things off. So like I can worry about the administrative stuff at that time, and then I do sound check, and then I can go back to
Yeah.
the other stuff, and then I do the show, and then I go back to the other stuff. So
Yeah. It
it's
feels like to me too, like that downtime that you would normally have on the bus.
yeah.
Now you're, working on the phones or,
Oh yeah.
figuring something out. Yeah.
There's no downtime. There's just
Yeah.
yeah. There's no days off.
That's the stuff that it eats up big time.
Yeah. Um, uh, Judas Priest, stage manager once said it to me. His name's Rick. I can't remember his last name for the life of me. But he was like, "Yeah, there's no days off on the road. There's just days without a show." So
Yeah, that's
you're
true.
always working when you have that manager title. You're always working. So
That
it's
makes a
just
lot of sense.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. What about relationships? Like, you seem like a guy that probably gets along with most people. Like you don't
Mm.
really seem like somebody who's got a real edge to him. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you're
No,
just being nice right now.
I
But
well I mean there's
how important are those relationships? Like on the road with the other 7 or 8 people on the bus with you, with vendors, with the artists, with whoever.
Well, if it's gonna be miserable when you're not doing the show, it's not worth doing, is kinda how I feel. So you gotta be with people that you like. It doesn't mean you need to be around your favorite people, but you gotta be around people that you get along with. I mean, Tom's crew is honestly one of the best that I've ever worked with, as
Really?
far as that goes. They're the most competent, technically. The band is all incredible people. Tom is one of the most normal people in the world. Like he's not.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
oh yeah, he's not like a your typical, even like an artist that I get along with and I like. They're all kind of, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say it in a way that makes him sound bad, but Tom is like a guy. He's just like a normal person. Like he
Huh.
doesn't need to be. Like he's yeah,
He's done it.
he's done it all. He's done it all, and there's
Yeah.
not there's he knows he's in charge, and that's important. But there's not like an ego there, and it's all everything he does is to make the show better, which
Yeah.
is
I just
that's
saw
but
a video a couple days ago, and he's still singing really well too.
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, like it's funny because he'll always ask me every day, like how was I singing tonight? How was I singing tonight? He's like, I'm like, yeah, I thought it was great. And he's like, are you sure? Because my throat's all messed up, and I'm like, I had no clue. you know,
I think the video I saw was Push Push, and
Mm,
it was great. Like I
yeah,
was shocked. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad,
yeah.
but it
No,
sounded amazing. It
no,
sounded
he sounds
really
like he
good.
did well, and like I don't know if you know this, but he had like some serious vocal issues for
I
years
did.
in the
Yeah.
early '90s,
Yeah. I
and
remember that.
like he's got a paralyzed vocal cord, I think, and so he had to relearn how to sing, but he sounds just like he did in the
Yeah.
Cinderella
Well, and
days.
that stuff is tough. Like it
Yeah.
it doesn't play well on longevity, that style, you know?
I mean, well, I mean, if I try to, I mean, not, it would be terrible if I tried, but if I tried to do that head voice singing,
Yeah.
my throat feels like it's going to fall out after
I know.
10 seconds
I
of
know.
doing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
can do it. I can pretend that I'm Tom Keifer
yeah,
or Brian Johnson
yeah,
from AC/DC,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not for very long.
No,
You know,
yeah,
it
yeah.
hurts pretty
There's
quickly.
no, yeah. I could get through a verse and then it's like, oh my god, how do you do this every
That's
day, dude?
hilarious. Well,
So
fortunately for you, you don't have to do it to make a living. So
yeah, but like that's the other like one thing that I most people understand this, but like that's just something you can't fake through. Like you can be
no,
a you could be a guitarist and be up on deck, and you're not going to give the best show you've ever given, but
Keith
you could
Richards.
still yeah. Well, but like
Yeah.
it's like say you had a flu or a cold or something, you can fake your way through it. You can't fake singing. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess you can with Ableton now, but
Y-
you can't.
Yeah.
A real singer can't fake singing. You can't, and so you got to take care of your voice and stuff like that. But he does a great
Yeah.
job with that stuff. But
Well, and again,
yeah,
like it's easier now when you've quit most of the bad things that you used to do, or you're not
yeah,
doing it in excess anymore, at least. Like back then, they would go hard and, you'd go till forever and just
yeah,
start again the next morning,
yeah,
or
yeah.
afternoon.
You sleep once a week.
Who's the HU or Hugh? Who is
So
this?
it's the Who, and they're a Mongolian throat singing band. Um,
Really?
yeah, they're like so they blended metal and Mongolian traditional instruments and Mongolian throat singing. It's the coolest thing I've ever worked. It's probably the coolest, most interesting band I've ever gotten to work with.
I have
But
to check it
it's
out.
really good. You do got to check it out because they're playing like it's your typical band, drums, bass, guitar. But then they're all singing in this throat singing voice, which is just as crazy as I mean,
Is it like
it's
chanting kind of stuff, or what is it? Like I don't
it
even
is
know.
it's something you have to listen to because
Yeah, yeah, I'll
if
check it out.
you've probably heard it before, but it's like it's this like a lot of them can sing like two notes at once, and it's like this.
Huh,
It's called throat singing, and so it's like it's from your throat. It's this loud growl type thing.
huh.
I don't know how else to describe it, but if you get a chance to look that band up, uh,
Oh, I'm gonna.
it's cool. But they 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 started their thing, and I don't think it was really interesting. They really did a really great job with it, but I don't think they ever thought it would blow up like it did. But they ended up doing a cover of "Sad but True" by Metallica, and it got like 150 million views, and that's
Oh,
really
I
where it took
think I
off for them.
saw that.
Yeah,
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 because this rang a bell when I was reading it in your bio. I was
yeah,
like, I know
Yeah,
I've heard of these guys before,
yeah,
but I didn't have
yeah.
time at
So
the moment to look.
it's a if you are into music, even if it's not something like metal is not something you would listen to, you will appreciate what they're doing there.
Oh, I'm so
So
gonna check it out.
it's pretty cool. But yeah, like over here in the States, I mean, you know how it is. They're not there's not that many rock fans anymore. But when you go over to Europe or just about anywhere
Yeah,
else, they love
Europe's
that
huge
stuff.
still.
Yeah,
Well, and the big
yeah, it's
festivals and stuff too. I have
yeah.
a friend who I kind of grew up with, who was a very technical drummer in a Rush tribute band back in the
Oh,
'80s, and he now plays for I forget the name of the German band that he plays for now, Destruction,
okay.
German metal band. And so he lives over in, I think, Berlin or something with his wife, and plays. He played for Annihilator for a while. He plays for all these. Primal Fear was another one. So he does all these festivals all over Europe. And comes over here and does like smaller venues and stuff. But usually it's these
Mhm.
big, 75,000, 50,000 people festivals
Yeah.
with all these other metal bands on
Yeah,
the
oh, yeah,
bill.
it's like, you go I mean, like, you do, like, Bonnaroo or Coachella here, and they're big festivals, and they're but, like, when you go to Europe and do Hellfest or Download or,
Yeah.
even, like, Pink Pop, it's just, like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the fans are just as good here, but there are so many more over there is the
Right.
best way I can describe it, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I have an employee who works for me who lives in Brazil,
Okay.
and Brazil is Rush crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I remember seeing on Rush, I think it was R30 or something, where they
Mhm.
recorded it in Brazil, and they were singing YYZ, the instrumental,
Yeah.
and they sing guitar solos and they sing drum solos, and like they're just rabid. But
Mhm.
so I'm talking to this employee, he's in his 20s and he's a massive Rush fan, never seen them.
Mhm.
And it's just Brazil is Rush crazy, and there's a huge Rush following in Brazil. And so he bought his tickets for the Brazil show like the day they announced it, and he just can't wait. So I've been sending him all kinds of cool things that Howard's sending me, and
Yeah.
he's just so jazzed for it. But yeah, it's wild how some of these
It's
older bands just have such a following in
Well, it's even
young
like,
people.
yeah, well, like, and there's so many bands that, like, people in these states just haven't even heard of that,
Mm.
can sell out well, I mean, sell 7,000 tickets, like, Accept is a good example here, in the States, they don't sell many tickets at all, and I did my first tour with them, I guess 2021, and, they're selling maybe 500 tickets, and it's like, "Alright, whatever." It was fun, and I knew the band,
Yeah.
and, they were I remember, in the '80s and well, I guess in the '80s, they were, uh, pretty popular over
Yeah, they're
here,
huge.
but
Yeah.
Wolf was like, "Hey, well, do you wanna go do a South America tour with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go do it." And you go down there and, like, it's it is a completely different thing. It's, like, hard for them to sell less than 5,000 tickets, and they're headlining all the
Wow.
festivals. I mean, we headlined, Summer Breeze and, a bunch of festivals down there. So it's like it's just yeah, it's just
And it's not what's his name, Udo Dirkschneider, right? It's not, he's
Udo's
not
not in the
singing.
band anymore, no.
Right.
No, it's, Mark Tornillo is the lead singer now.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
he was in a band called TT Quick, but he's a
Oh yeah, yeah,
beast of
yeah.
a
I know who
singer.
he is. Yeah.
Um, he's like, he the same as Tom's like, I don't know how you sing like that every night. You just
Yeah,
keep
it's
going.
another one.
But yeah. But yeah, that's just they have a different appreciation for rock music, which I guess is fine, but it's just like it's just funny to see it down there. It's like these are the people that like the same music I like,
Yeah.
it's so
But that Who band, so was that a US tour or was that somewhere else?
I started in Europe with them, but I've done several US tours with them. So yeah.
Okay. And they sell here?
I'm about 1,000 tickets.
I've never
But
even
in
heard of them. So I
Yeah,
really do have to go
we
check this out.
we did, the last tour I did with them was, we opened for Maiden, so but yeah, like, when we did trying to think how many we did one co-headline tour with Asking Alexandria, and they were doing about I would guess about 1,000 tickets a night,
Yeah.
And when we did the few headline shows that we did on that maiden tour, um, it was probably about 1,000 tickets.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
you go to anywhere in Europe or UK or anything like that, it's at minimum 3,000.
I mean, the thing
So
is, unless you can go viral online or something, there's just no way to get big anymore.
no,
Like
it's not. Well,
you gotta go viral on TikTok, and then people will buy your tickets all day.
yeah, I mean, I think there's good and bad to that because it used to be like you had to, butter up. I mean, I love the radio. I love those people, but you had to like know the person at the radio station to get on the radio. And now
Yeah.
you don't. It really comes down to how many people actually. I mean, the algorithm pushes it, and I know that, but it's you do there do does have to be some kind of grassroots kind of momentum for the algorithm to do that, which I think is nice because I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think a band like the Who uh, would have done as well if they came around in the 80s or 90s, you know,
Yeah.
because they
It's
no, it's they're
because
all
weird is good now. Like definitely
yeah, and
weird is
it's
good because people
well, it's
share it and go, have you heard, like,
well,
have you seen the French guys, something de poutine or poutin or whatever it is?
mm,
God, I was one of the first people to start sharing this video around. Oh my God, I can't remember what they're called. They're look up the French Canadian, just search for weird French Canadian rock band and you'll
yeah,
see it. It's two guys and they're dressed in these wacky polka dot costumes with this big floppy nose and stuff.
yeah.
And they're just incredible. They play this
Oh,
thing
I
called
do know who you're talking about.
what do they call it? Microtonal music or whatever, where
Mm.
the frets are different shapes and they're closer and further and closer and further. And
Okay.
so it's got all these in between notes and stuff. It's just really weird, sort of a
Mhm.
cross between jazz and rock and something else weird.
Uh,
Uh, but yeah. And Angine de Poitrine, I think it is. Angine de Poitrine. I don't know.
I've been seeing pictures of them. I haven't heard their music, but I've been seeing pictures
Yeah.
of them online. People talking about them. Yeah. So
They
I'll have to check them.
exploded. They went from
Yeah.
playing, 100-seat,
Yeah.
little things to, just exploding like many,
Mhm.
many millions of views and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, they got huge. And musicians, like you see all kinds of musicians sharing their videos going, have you heard these guys? They're incredible. Guitar
Mhm.
players, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Um, do you approach like, because a lot of the bands that you've been with, are classic, right? Like,
Mhm.
30, 40-year-old songs. Do you approach a set list like that differently than you would with like a newer artist, newer material?
Um,
Or it's all the
from
same.
a front of house perspective, I don't like I per I honestly approach every band, even if it's the same type of classic rock, differently anyway.
Yeah, they're
So,
unique.
yeah, like it doesn't like I would never, even though like well, Skid Row and Tom are not like the same. They're of the same era, but they're not the same style. But I wouldn't ever mix Tom the same way I would mix Sebastian, and I wouldn't ever mix the Who is like a completely different beast too. I would never mix them like I mix any other band that I work with. So yeah, I really do approach it all differently. Like
Yeah,
my first step is if I can get the set list or at least get a list of the songs because some artists like to change it up. I'll burn them into my head so I know where everything is in the record. And then like I've done a tour with Tom, so I have most of the songs stuck there already. But even after that, if we get good rehearsals and we have time in between rehearsals and actually starting the tour, I'll just listen to my 2 tracks and burn the actual show into my head too, because they're
yeah,
always changing up a little bit. But, you really do need to from a front of house perspective, you have to know that show you have to know the parts of the show as well as the band does. Um, I mean, man, I'll be the first to admit I definitely miss things, but it's important that you know when that solo is coming, when this is happening, when that's happening, and it really does matter. Like just because just
what whose
bumping.
solo it is,
Well, there's that, but like yeah, that's
Yeah,
the other thing. Like you can listen to the records and you could hear a solo, but when you actually are here at the show, it's like I didn't know if that was Tom's solo or if it was Tony's solo
yeah,
until I actually did the show. But just knowing, it does take a couple shows to really get it down, but like just knowing, all right, if this song I bump up the keyboard about a half a dB, or
Yeah.
I'll bring the reverb down here, or this is what this should sound like, or whatever, and then
I
just
mean, when you get
uh,
that part wrong, though, it can be devastating because, like, I recently saw, I won't say who it was because I know the people involved and stuff, but I recently saw a band and the front of house guy was using a different console than normal,
yeah,
and he was really struggling,
yeah,
and it was obvious.
mhm,
And great sound guy, and but he was struggling, and one of the biggest things that was happening is he was getting the solos wrong. So like
mhm,
suddenly the rhythm guitar would be blasting and you couldn't hear the solo, and then all of a sudden you'd hear that flip around 10 seconds later or whatever, and
yeah.
things like that were bad.
I will say this, and we kind of talked about this earlier, but like that is an important thing, that you really know your console inside and out, because it's not like the analog days where they all worked the same way. It's
Right.
like I would not be able to mix this show. Like right now, I'm on an Allen Heath Avantis, and I'm real so comfortable with those discs. And the same thing with like the D Live and stuff like that. I know them inside and out. So, and because of that, I can move quicker on them. I can dial things in better.
Yeah.
Um, and it's, like with the Yamaha desk, I wouldn't have as good of mix, and it's not because the Yamaha is any better or any worse. It's because I'm not as quick on that. So I do,
Right.
I will say to some to young engineers, learn every desk inside and out. And one I wouldn't call it a crutch, but the thing nowadays, and I do this too, is you can fly your own console. They're so tiny nowadays, and there's not the when I was doing it, you that was not possible. That was not a thing you could do. So you had to learn every console you were on, and because of that, I'm proficient on most consoles, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. You
Even
had to be
though,
able to walk into a venue and run what they
yeah,
had.
and
Yeah.
I don't know that because every digital console is so different, it's important to learn all that as much as you can, because if you get a gig at a production house, a lot of times they're just they're all Yamaha, or they're all
Right.
one thing, and you can't expect them to go buy a bunch of consoles, but you do need to do everything you can to get on as many different consoles as possible, so you can,
Yeah.
one, decide what you really like, and two, be able to walk up and do it on anything, which I
Yeah.
think is important.
What do you think makes a great live mix? Like when you walk in and hear another band or whatever, what really makes it a great live mix? I mean, other
Duh.
than the obvious, it just sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I this is how I kind of approach everything. The only person there's two people I'm trying to impress every night: myself and the guy signing my check in the middle of the stage. And I don't try to make anything. Uh, I mean, like I just I don't have any rules for anything like that. I mean, turn the knobs till it sounds good to you, and then if people are complaining, you need to listen to that. Like I guarantee you a mix that when I was 20, that I was doing, that I thought sounded amazing. If I did it today, it wouldn't sound good to me, or
Yeah.
maybe it would, but it would not. It does not. Then the way it was in my head is not the way it was. So I think what makes a good mix is uh, being the engineer that wants to have a better mix than they did the night before every time. And I mean, that's kind of a cop out, but I don't think there's any rules
But it makes
for how.
sense. Always
Yeah,
trying to get a little bit better, you
yeah.
know?
There's no rules uh for any of this. I
Yeah.
mean, what sounds good to me does may not sound good to you, and my opinion shouldn't matter that much to you, unless it's you know
Yeah.
gonna get you fired. But
Do you because you do some smaller bands and stuff too, like are you still using point source stuff in certain venues you go to?
it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll still see. I mean, it's honestly not really. I mean,
No.
no, it's everybody wants line arrays for, well, one, because they're honestly even like the cheaper stuff is getting really, really good,
Yeah.
and it's sightline issues. They can put them up high so
Right.
they can
Yeah.
sell more tickets that can sell. Like when you get a bunch of 850s stacked up on deck or whatever it was, you eat up a bunch of seats that are just gonna
Isn't it
one they're
fun though
gonna
when you can walk in and blast a point source system
it,
and
it is nice. It is
yeah.
nice, but it's the issue that I have with that stuff is like even like a great sounding point source rig, like an 850 rig or something like that.
Yeah.
It's you got to maintain them, and if you still have an 850 rig, it's probably because you're not wanting to spend the money to upgrade or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, but
And they're
yeah, I mean
rattling
it's
and making all
yeah,
kinds of
there's
fun
like
noises.
I mean, there was one gig I did. I worked with this punk band called Bayside, and this was a fun. I was tour managing them, and it was an 850 rig, and we get there, and like there was like holes in the damn speaker,
Oh
like
Jesus.
just like, and it was like obvious, and the guy's like, oh yeah, it doesn't, it's been like that for a while, it doesn't make that big of a difference, and I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to it, and it does, dude, and it's like
Yeah.
take care of
Yeah.
your stuff, but I'm most venues do, but you know,
Mm.
it's there's a point where even if it's a great rig, if you I mean, sometimes you can't get parts anymore. Sometimes it's just like an old I get those 850s are huge. They eat up a lot of space in the truck, and you can
They do.
you can get a
Yeah.
you can get a rig that does the same job that's a lot smaller, a lot less work to get going. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see it every once in a while, and it's fun to go hop on like that or like an old VDOS rig or something like that. But
Yeah.
sometimes
Are
it's time to retire that stuff.
are you are you L acoustic or D&B or you don't care?
Right now, I am the two. I love L acoustics. I love D&B. Like I never would complain about ever having any of those rigs. But my two favorite PAs right now are going to be the newer Adamson stuff, and the older Adamson stuff was great too. But the newer Adamson stuff
Yeah.
is really good, and I think Claire Cohesion is right up there
Of
with that.
course. Yeah. That stuff's
But
beautiful.
yeah, so um, that being said, I'm never going to complain about any kind of any L acoustics rig or any D&B rig. It's just
Yeah.
they've been making great stuff since they
Yeah.
started. So,
Yeah.
but even like I mean the RCF stuff, they're kind of known as the cheaper box, but they sound good. And JBL's making great stuff now. I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
you know,
know that not that I don't have the ears that you have, but I've seen all kinds of stuff that like even off-brand stuff that sounds
mhm.
pretty good. Like you said about
Well,
consoles and stuff, it's all good now,
yeah,
most of it.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like smaller brands. I wouldn't call them boutique, but like there's a company called DAS.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they have they have this they're known for being like they have like a I don't want to call them cheap, but they're like RCF level boxes. But they just came out with this line called the Aura line, and I know them and I listen to the rig, and it's as good as any L acoustics rig I've ever heard.
Really?
Um, yeah, and
Yeah.
there's other brands like there's a company called Coda which is making really good stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I've seen a lot
obviously
of that.
there's like Danley and there's other
Yeah.
brands, but
Yeah.
there's not.
Meyer.
Yeah, I mean there's so many good engineers out there that have built some really good stuff that
Yeah.
you know it used to be like the best. You really wanted to see L acoustics or D&B, but everybody else has kind of really stepped up their game in the
Well, they're
past
just
couple of years,
big.
and
They're big.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
they're the
well,
big guys.
you can count on them, and like I totally get the idea that everybody knows that those brands are going to be good. Like I
Yeah.
can't tell, I can tell you that that the new DOS rigs are really good, but until you hear them, that doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I know and every venue's they gotta cater to riders, so they know that nobody's ever going to complain about a DNB rig or an L-Q6 rig or
That's
an
what I was
Adamson
going to
rig. So
say. Like sometimes it's down to the mass availability of stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're going into a country and they don't have, you know, uh, DAS or whatever it is, but
yeah,
they do have J series or
yeah,
K2s or something.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah, it's an interesting world. Like I can't believe how those companies just keep coming out with new rigs and people are lining up to spend 2, 3, $4 million for,
yeah.
a new rig. It's wild.
Well, I will say this: like some of them, they're there's like I don't know, there's some kind of there's a word for it that the tech bros use, but there's some things that they're doing that are to put a feature in there, like to squeeze it into so they can sell something new, they're
Yeah.
they're making some steps backwards. But that being said, it's like it's one of those things. It's like yeah, you're never going to be dissatisfied with a properly deployed L acoustics or D&B rig.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So what else? I'm trying to think of what we haven't talked about. What haven't we talked about? We talked about gear a little bit.
mhm. You talk more about gear. I don't.
Yeah. What about people? Like, have you been struggling for people, or you've got your kind of go-to group, or
I
you just take
definitely have
whoever
my
they throw at you?
no. I got my go-to group. I mean, I'll always, I'm if you got a crew together and it's working, I don't ever like to change anything that's not broken. But I've got my go-to guys. I always like to try if I've got a crew that I know is good together, and then we need to bring in a new guy. Now I always think it's good to give a new guy a chance, but you also got to be ready to say, "Hey, this you're not ready for this at the time." But like right now, we got this young kid out here. He's our drum tech. His name's Sam Wall, and he's like 22, and he's cream of the crop, but like really really good.
Hmm.
Especially from my standpoint, he knows how to get drums sounding good, which is really important for me because it makes people think I know what I'm doing.
Is he a drummer?
He he's a drummer, yeah,
Yeah.
he's our drum tech. He's Jared's drum tech, but he's, yeah, just really hard worker. So I always tell people, keep your core crew together because if you get a bunch of green guys out there, it's never gonna go well. But, like, every time you can give a young guy a chance, especially if they got the right attitude, um, go for it.
Yeah.
But also don't be afraid to say, "Hey, we gotta go find somebody else," 'cause
Yeah.
there's been times where that has not worked out for me well, and you know, it's not fair to all the other people that gotta pick up all the slack when you have a guy that's not working out for whatever
I,
reason,
I
so,
I give my son the same advice all the time. Like
yeah.
whether you're a janitor or the CEO of a company, just like do it to the best of your ability and be
Mhm.
kind to the people around you and stuff.
Yeah,
And you'll go pretty far and always
yeah,
hustle, like always say yes to a lot of stuff that you might not normally say yes to and just do it, get it done
yeah,
and don't go looking for, hey boss, look what I did,
yeah.
just like
Now
be the guy
yeah,
that is reliable and people like.
yeah, yeah, and especially if you have good leadership, they're gonna be looking for that, knowing that they know you did a good job. They know you like, especially when it's a technical position, people know you did a good job when they don't hear your name.
Yeah,
You
no
know?
drama.
So,
No
yeah.
drama. Oh,
Well, yeah,
Ryan, did you hear what
yeah,
Ryan did again today,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's great to hear when people say good things, but a lot of times when people say something about that makes bad or, if somebody notices you when you're on the crew, it may not always be a good thing. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah. So like the past couple tours have been really, really lucky with the new guys that have come out that haven't had a whole bunch of experience. And I try to do that because people did that for me. They stuck their neck out.
Yeah. I love
So
that. I love that you're looking to do that, like at least add one young person
yeah.
or whatever. But for people who are thinking about it, because this is one of the problems, like, I talk to people about this all the time, and I do a lot of different programs myself that I'm involved in trying to get young people mentored and all kinds of things like that. But young people who come to you who say they want to build a career in touring, what advice do you give them?
Um, give it a shot because if you this is what I say. I say like there's great there's all these websites out there like Bobnet and
Yeah,
that put out gigs, but the real way to do it, and I've had this happen a couple times on the tour, and I will go to these guys first. Is if you're a house tech, um, and you see a crew that really has their stuff together, they're not assholes. There's something you would want to do. Make sure they have your contact information, and make sure you have their contact information, and make sure they know you want to go do this. And every 6 months, um, shoot them a
check in.
text, shoot them an email.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you know what? You never know because like it's totally slipped my mind that I've been like I need a monitor engineer. I need somebody that's really good, and then you never know when you're going to shoot that text out. And 3 days before, I wasn't thinking about you, and now I am. Or
yeah,
somebody just called me for a gig that I can't do, and I don't know anybody that's available. You know what? Give this guy a shot. He hasn't done it before, but he was really good when we did that. gig. I mean, this just happened the other day. I can't remember where we were. His name was Leo, but I've got his contact info, and if it comes up, I'm going to give him a call. And he did a great job. Um, but yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
always treat Thomas O'Keefe, who's a good friend of mine. He's Weezer's tour manager. He's like, always treat every gig, even if it's just the gig you're doing that night, like it's going to lead you to the gig of your dreams. Because it honestly, it will. It may not be, you're not going to go mix in front of house for, you know, Paul McCartney tomorrow, but there's all those steps, and that's kind of how we all. I mean, that's how I came up. And I started out in vans, and now I'm doing bigger stuff, and I intend to be doing bigger stuff in 5 years. So it's just
Yeah.
you always treat it, even if it's like not your favorite gig or you're not getting paid what you think you're owed. You treat it like it's gonna get lead you to your next gig,
It
because
matters. Yeah.
somebody's gonna see you doing that, and they're gonna call you. It is, and they're not
Yeah.
gonna call you if they don't have your number or if they're not thinking about you.
The
So it's
biggest
important.
thing you said in there really is, yeah, build a network and manage the network.
Yeah,
Like stay in touch with people, because if you just call them when you need a gig, that gets
yeah,
old. Call them when you don't need a gig. Call them when
yeah,
they need a gig. Call them,
yeah.
when it's their birthday or
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
Stay in
Well, there's
touch.
that too. But like, even still, like, I don't mind people that I don't even know well, that I've worked with. Text me, say, hey, I'm looking for a gig,
Yeah.
because everybody that is above you gets that, because
Yeah.
it's especially in touring, it's a lifestyle, and nobody's ever going to be offended as long as you're not like texting somebody every day, but like, text somebody every 2-3 months, say, hey, you know let me know if anything comes up, because like, you never know how
Yeah.
that's going to work out, because there's several people I'm thinking of right now that I've got their contact info, and I just, what, I'm if something comes up, I'm going to pass their info along, because they did a great job. um
Yeah, I
the
do it
one
all the
time that I
time.
worked with.
I do it all the
Yeah.
time. Like I'll, put weird little notes that say, strange dude always wore a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt or something,
Yeah.
and that's how
Yeah.
you remembered him. Oh, that was that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
he did that thing. That was perfect,
Yeah. Yeah. But
But
I'll even, like, when I do save people's info, I always, because I'm terrible with names, but I remember venues. So I remember,
yeah,
I'll save them as they were, the guy at whatever venue it was. I mean, or
yeah.
New York, the guy today has been really good. So I mean, if I get his number, it's gonna be, his name is Bart, and at Yorkie Theater in Lakeland, Florida. Oh yeah, I can search for Yorkie Theater. I'm gonna be like, that's the guy. So yeah,
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart. I
yeah,
mean, that, like, to me, I popped into this business not knowing anything,
yeah.
and I networked very early,
Mhm.
and I networked with some of the top guys out there so that I could get these people on the phone, and
Mhm.
that gave me value and it gave me leverage in my career. I've been doing it a long time now, but and I always took care of them. I always
Yeah,
made sure that I did what I said I was going to do and all those things, right? Like
yeah.
the stuff that your
If you,
dad teaches you.
yeah, yeah, yes. Pay it forward.
Don't be a
So
dick.
don't be a dick.
Do what you say you're going to do. Don't be
Yep,
late.
and don't be late. Don't sleep in.
Yeah,
But
true. I don't
yeah,
have that problem anymore. I try so, like, I could have a Saturday with nothing to do all weekend. I don't have to do
yeah,
anything, and
yeah,
I'm up at 5.
yeah.
It's just
It's
ridiculous.
funny, when we're touring, I'm not like that, because you go to bed at like 3. But like in the off
Yeah.
season, like January, February, that's how I wake up, when the sun comes up. It's like
Yeah.
clockwork. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing about getting a gig, is that there's all these great websites, and I've gotten gigs on those, but the best gigs I've ever gotten have been because somebody saw me do something somewhere else, and they know I can do a good job, and because I gave them my number, or I gave them my email.
So important.
So
Yeah, so
yeah.
important. So 20 odd years on the road, what keeps you excited about the next show, the next gig, the next band?
Uh, I mean, it's just the growth of it. Like, I'm just, I think there's a healthy way to look at it, because I'm never satisfied, but I'm never disappointed either, if that makes sense. Like, I'm quite happy with the level of stuff I'm doing right now, but I still want to be mixing arenas and stadiums and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, keep those goals. I don't know if reasonable is the right word, but it's, just always be looking to the future, and be looking
Yeah.
to what's going to make you the next best version of yourself. because those calls always come
Growth.
in.
Yeah,
Growth,
focus
yeah,
on growth.
and yeah,
Growth.
and another thing is, like, this kind of goes back to the old thing, but never be afraid to do a gig, or never refuse to do a gig, um, because it's beneath you or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you think it's because, like, this Tom Keifer gig, I don't know if you know, you know Damon Johnson. He's plays guitar in he played guitar in Thin Lizzy, but he's
I
in
don't.
Leonard Skinner right now. He played for Alice
Oh,
Cooper.
I know who he is.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Alice
yeah,
Cooper.
so
Right.
yeah, but so Tony Higbee and Jared Pope play in his band Brother Kane, but they played in his other band too. And he that was just like, we were just going around doing gigs in um, Damon's SUV, and I got to know Jared and I got to know Tony, and that's what got me this gig. So it's
Oh,
like,
that's wild.
yeah, so it wasn't you just
It
be
wasn't the
willing to
most
work.
glamorous gig, but
No, it was, but
it was
it was
fun. You
it
probably
was
had a good
fun. It was
time
good
and
people. Yeah,
yeah.
and you never know what's going to lead to the next thing,
Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, I can definitely point to uh the weird track that my career has taken is because of stuff I wasn't really expecting or didn't really think it would lead to anything else.
Yeah.
So, that
I,
was
I
me.
I agree
Mm,
with you so much. And I think like nurturing the network is so important all the time
yeah,
because you want to be on people's minds, you want them to
yeah,
remember you, you want them
yeah,
to think about you and just constantly building that network. It's
yeah,
like my son used to be a racing driver. And I remember one time when he was a little kid, he was like 8 or something, and he was in a kart race in Daytona
yeah.
and they had AJ Allmendinger at this kart race. He's a semi-famous NASCAR driver or whatever, and he did a little talking and Q&A thing for the kids. And an older kid, he was like 16 or 17 or something, and he said, "I'm planning to go to college. If I want to still be a professional racing driver, what courses should I take in college?" And you're expecting like, some sort of engineering or something like that. And he said marketing and public relations, because you're always selling yourself for that next gig racing a car, that
Mhm.
next opportunity, and public relations and marketing. That's what you need to know. And
Yeah.
I never forget that because I always told my son the same thing. Make sure you're networking, make sure the team owners know you, make sure you're out
Mhm.
there, right? So
Yeah.
same in
Yeah.
this
Because, like,
business.
if they don't know who you are, they can't give you a call. So,
Yeah, yeah, you're so right. Well, I appreciate you, man. I know you're
well,
you're
thank
sitting
you.
there watching people flying by you and
Yeah.
stuff,
No,
and
it's all good. Yeah.
probably
They
want
just
to eat.
open. Well, I think they're going to open doors to come. No, I'm good. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
really, no. Thank you so much for having me on, man. This was a lot of fun.
yeah, no, it's
So,
super nice to meet you too, and
yeah,
I'll have to follow and watch when you're coming through town with something and come
yeah.
out
Are
and shake
you?
hands.
Where in Canada are you?
Just outside of Calgary in Banff in the
Okay.
mountains in the
Oh yeah,
Canadian
I've been to Banff.
Rockies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been there. It's beautiful up there.
yeah. I've had a
Cool.
I've had a house up here for like 20 years or something.
Oh,
So
nice, nice,
yeah,
very nice.
yeah.
Cool.
But if you come to Calgary,
I'll
ping
let
me.
you know. I'm not up there
Yeah,
that much, but I will definitely let you know. But
yeah.
yeah.
It's a good time to
Well,
come
cool.
up here. Don't come
Yeah,
in
it's yeah.
December or
No.
January or something.
Yeah.
It
I
sucks.
came in. Last time I was up there was March, and it was still too cold for me. So
Well, I mean, it's June and it snowed a few days ago, so
did it?
you
Wow.
just never know. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Ryan. Well, have a
Well,
good
thanks,
show,
man.
and thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All
Have
right,
a good
pal.
one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Heck, GearShare. Launching on September 2nd, 2025, GearShare is the first AI-powered rental marketplace for the live events industry. It's built to eliminate friction and locate even the toughest to find gear globally. Forget old school sub-rental headaches. GearShare is built around gear spotting, an AI search tool that actually finds the gear you need, plus GearSync, keeping your listings synced automatically and with almost zero effort. Even better, there are zero transaction fees. You rent, you deal direct, and you hold on to 100% of that revenue. If you're a rental or production company tired of losing gigs, low utilization, or dealing with manual methods, it's time to jump in. Getting in before the end of August gives you access to Founders Club discounts and other benefits. So visit gearshare.live to join the waitlist and take better control of your sub-rentals and drive up revenues today.